Hi friends, how are you? Welcome to All the Things with Grammy. Today we are going to make some bean and ham soup. And first of all, what am I drinking? I am drinking ice water, and it's got some black cherry limeade in it. It's sugar-free, all the stuff. Actually, this one has just a touch of cane sugar, but mostly it has stevia. So I really like it in this big Stanley. Of course, my Stanley is my Barbie Stanley, because that's my name. So I usually put 2 in, but I filled halfway up, so I'm only going to stick 1 in right now. And that's all it is just one of these little things with no aspartame. Just a little thing you could throw in your purse, and it just gives water a little zing. There's not real super sweet, just a lot of flavor. So I'm gonna have this while we are cooking. And if you saw my Instagram post earlier, we had prediction of a bunch of snow today, and I said if you can't stop it and you can't leave it, you might as well embrace it. And so I had my Let It Snow cup. We did not get a ton of snow right now. I know other people in other places of the United States got way more, but I'm in mid-Michigan. We haven't had bad winters a lot in the past few years, so I really can't complain. I also get to work from home, permanently remote for the state of Michigan as of right now. So I really can't complain. I don't have to drive in it unless I have to go to the store or something. But now, DoorDash. I did DoorDash a grocery order. Not this time, but last time when it snowed. Anyway, I have my beverage. I still have a little bit of coffee still in there, but I'm not going to drink it because I'm filming this. The dogs are in underneath my feet. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. I'm not going to be drinking this. Actually, it's 7 o'clock. No, let me look again. Yes, it's 6 o'clock. Okay, so here's this. I got my drink, so I'm hydrated while I'm cooking. I got sweet Vidalia onions. I've got Great Northern beans. Sometimes I will use dry beans, but today I wanted it quick and easy. So then this cooks a lot quicker. I have chicken stock. I'm going to put in a bunch of celery, a bunch of carrots in my big old pot. And I've also got a camera so I can film over, down this way. I'm going to try. I'm not going to talk to you through the whole thing. Probably a lot of it when I'm editing, I'll speed it up so you can see what I do, but I'm not going to talk through the whole thing. You'll see steps. I'll fast forward. I'll do this. This is the most awkward place for me. That's why I'm halfway cut off. It's the most awkward kitchen to film in. So we're going to have to just do what we have to do. I'm also going to do something with these dogs because they're fighting, playing, roughhousing in my kitchen. So I'm going to go block off the area so they can't get in here with me. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back. I'm going to cube up this ham. So we got ham cubes ready to go in the soup later. And then we're going to talk about, and I've other videos I've recorded this, but I've not posted it yet. But we're going to talk about the proper way to dice an onion. Super easy, super quick, and it won't be hard for you to do at all. You can learn. My first bachelor's degree was in hospitality and tourism management. My emphasis was on food service. So part of that were culinary classes. So I was taught by, I don't know if they were Michelin star chefs or whatever, but taught the proper way how to dice an onion. And it works foolproof every single time. And I'll show you that. And we'll talk about it then. A lot of this I'm just going to put on some music in the background, and I'm just going to record this, my doing it, and I won't talk through the whole thing. Anyway, I'm going to get going with this celery, carrots, and then we'll talk about the onions, and then we'll get it going in the pan. And this soup, because I'm using beans that are already I don't want to say cooked, but they're not dry beans. This is going to go together and be ready to eat real quick. So I will be back. Stay tuned. Oh, and the most important thing before we get started, my shirt says be kind. Okay, yes, I've had culinary classes, but I am not a professional chef. I love to cook. I always put something on my head if other people are going to be eating it as well. So, be kind. If you got anything, constructive criticism, whatever, but just be kind, okay? This is a new channel. I have a cross-stitch channel called Stitching with Grammy. This is all the things with Grammy. So if you come from there, welcome. I'm also going to do the Bible study in a year on this channel. Also, I'm going to do tips and things that a lot of us learned from our grandmas, okay? A lot of us learned from our grandmas and our moms how to do things in the kitchen, whether it be cooking or baking or even how to do dishes. There are some people that I've seen that are, sorry, I'm trying to separate these dogs under my feet. There are other content creators that I've seen that do like housework videos. Follow me while I'm doing my cleanup, my reset, whatever. And a lot of them, if they're not putting stuff in the dishwasher, they're washing things by hand. They're not putting them in a hot soapy water. They're just letting water run on it and using a little sponge. We're going to learn the proper way to do dishes if you have to do them by hand. A lot of people just don't know because they've never been taught. So stick with me. I'm going to show you how to cook simple foods, and I'm going to show you how to bake. We're going to do some baking as well. Not today, but there'll be tons of times that we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to show you helpful tips about storage things and how to sew a button on and how to properly wash dishes and things that your grandmas and moms and grandmas, a lot of us learned from them. But if there's something that you want to learn, if you want to see how to do something, how somebody's mom or grandma did it, put it down in the comments. Let me know. Like, follow, share with your friends, hit the notification bell so you can see all the stuff that I post, that all the things from Grammy. It's going to be a whole modge podge of stuff. If you want strictly cross-stitch content, that's on my Stitching with Grammy. That's not going to change right now. But follow me along here with all the things because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Okay? So I'm going to go get my apron on because remember last time, you have to have an apron because messy cooks are great cooks. So I'm going to go put an apron on. I'm going to get these dogs out of my kitchen, and then we're going to get started, okay? All right, I'm back. I adjusted this thing. So when I talk to you, I'm just going to have to bend over because this is the worst place to film. So if you can see back there, I put a gate up so I won't have dogs under my feet. You might still hear them in the background when I'm trying to talk. I got my apron because, you gotta get them. Gotta be clean, right? Or at least protect your clothes. I'm not making a huge mess, so I shouldn't be too bad, but I like to wipe my hands on it. If your hands are wet, you had to rinse them off for some reason. Then I use it to wipe my hands or if I have to wipe something. I don't usually have my nails painted, but I do. So because I have them painted, I'm just going to put gloves on. I'm not putting gloves on. If it was just me here all by myself, eating it by myself, I probably wouldn't put gloves on, but because I'm going to share this with some friends, because I can't eat this big old batch of bean soup by myself, I will put some in the freezer, but I'm going to share it. And I always put something on my head to cover the hair so hair doesn't fall in the food. And when I got nail polish on, I usually put gloves on so I don't get nail polish chipped off into the food. Plus, it'll protect, the polish will last longer. Any whoozy whatsy, as Pam of Pam and Steph Just Keep Stitching, as she usually says, I'm going to get going. I'm going to stop talking to you. I'm going to turn my music on. and I'm going to start getting this stuff ready. The carrots, the celery, and the onions. I'm going to cube this ham up first real quick to get it out of the way. Okay, so here we go.
Ew.
Yeah, guys, seen this. I am not sponsored. I'm not on the TikTok shop to sell anything, but this little gadget, I love it. Normally I'll dice up my carrots, but right now I think I'm just gonna stick them in here and we are going to, there we go. I have a pan, just got some butter in it. I'm actually gonna add a little bit more butter to the bottom of this pan so that we don't have anything sticking. And I'm gonna put the first batch of sliced carrots in. And get the rest of these sliced up real quick. And remember, a messy cook is a good cook, right? All right, we got all of our carrots chopped up, sliced up. There's a lot of carrots in there. We're gonna have a lot of veggies. Right now, I'm gonna add in some celery. And just like that, we have celery. All right, here we go. Last bit of celery, and then we're going to talk about onions. I'm about to fill my pan up just with the veggies. Thing you do, if you notice there is a kind of a hairy part on one end, and then the other end is where the green stems came out. Okay, it's very important that you remember which end is which. Okay, so all we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it from the hairy side to the stem side. We're gonna cut it just like this. directly in half. Okay, so you got your stem up here and the hairy side there. Then what you're going to do is make sure you have the stem end, this end where the green stalks were. And you're going to just cut that off. Cut the top off. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Not the hairy side. See that hairy stuff? Not that end. Whoops. But the other end where the stems were. You're just going to cut that end off. All right. Now you're going to pick it up. You're going to peel the outside layer. That's it. Then you're going to do the other side. You're going to peel. Sometimes it's thicker than the others. Just peel that outside layer right off. See that? Just peel the outside layer. Now, we're ready to go. There's a totally flat side here where you cut it in half. And there's also a flat side where you cut the stem end off. You're going to put the big flat side down on your cutting board. Okay? You're going to put your hands, this is when you're dicing onions. You're going to put your hand flat, get that thumb out of your way. Okay? Let me get you guys, let's figure out how I can get you guys in. All right, guys, I kind of tried to put you as close as I could. So, never mind this burn mark. I took a very hot skillet cast iron out and set it right here on my cutting board, and it kind of started burning it. Rather than on my counters, I guess that's good. Okay, so remember where we were. Hairy side, you cut it in half. Here we go. You're going to put your hand flat. You're going to get your thumb out of the way. Then you are going to take slices horizontally. Okay? Do not go all the way through to that hairy end. You want to stop before you get to the end. So when you get those slices in, they're there, but it's still attached here. Whoopsie. It's still attached here, but these are all open here. Then, all you do is you hold it, and you're just going to go vertically down. Can you see what I'm doing? You're going to go down. And you're not going to go all the way through where that hairy end is. All right. So you got first your horizontal, then your vertical. Now, all you got to do is slice down, and look at, it's diced, perfectly diced. Slice it down. Perfectly diced onion. Isn't that fun? Perfectly diced. And we're going to chop them and drop them in there and have onions in our ham soup. Now you got this weird hairy end with these weird, this I just cut around the hairy ball at the end and then just make little chops to chop this up as best you can. Or you can toss it out if you don't want it, don't want to use it. But that's a good thing about a rustic soup like this. You know it's homemade because they're not all perfectly shaped. So here we go again. You're going to put your hand flat. You can't see this. All right, there we go. We're going to put our hand flat, and we're going to take horizontal slices, not all the way through. Make sure your fingers and thumbs are out of the way. Okay, then you're going to take your dice. You're going to make your vertical cuts. And the more you cut, the closer you put these little horizontal and vertical cuts. The closer you put them together, the finer, then when you go down this way, the finer your dice is. You want big chunks? Spread them apart. You want little tiny ones? Put as many as you can close together. And then you'll get little tiny, tiny ones. All right? So, and then at the end, like I said, you just cut around the hairy part, and then you chop up these little pieces at the end. Or you throw it all away, doesn't matter. However you want to do it. Now, I always, and I don't know why, It's just my preference. I use sweet Vidalia onions. Sweet Vidalia are less what they call toxic, so they don't make you cry. They're not strong like your yellow and your white onions can be. I like them because they're sweet. And I even did pickled onions with the white. Normally the purple onions, those can be kind of strong. Those are typically used when you want to put it on a sandwich or eat it raw. You use the purple. Those are very good also in pickled onions. But there we go. There's our onions. And we'll let those cook down for a while too. You want to know what seasoning are we going to use? Okay, so remember we're putting ham in here. Ham is pretty salty, so you don't want to put in a lot of salt. Okay, I do love this salt, pepper, and garlic Kinder's blend. Put this in. Remember, this is a big old pot, right? So I use some of that. I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use any more salt till the end. I'll taste it, and if it needs more salt, I'll put some more in then. But definitely more pepper. Some garlic. Yes, I can chop up some fresh, but if I can get the lid open. Hold, please. There we go. And normally I'll just stick my knife down in here and grab out. Oh no, you can't see me at all. Can you see me? Let me put this back up. All right, so I had a couple scoops of garlic. That's all I'm going to put in right now with the vegetables. Maybe later I'm going to add more. Let me turn this up a little bit on medium. Maybe later, once I get the beans and the ham and everything in here and let it cook down for a while, then I'll taste it, and if it needs more, I'll add it. I may add some other spices at that time as well. But right now, this is all I'm going to put in. This is about ready to go. So, remember those big old thing of ham that we diced up earlier? I'm going to put this big old thing of ham in here. Woo! I'm not going to have room for the beans, it looks like. And then we're going to let this cook down for a while and get some flavor on it. Get some brown bits. Because I sliced the carrots and the celery, they're not going to take long to cook at all. So we don't want to get them too far down and wilted. The onions will cook down. Those are a little bit bigger pieces, but that's okay. All right, we're going to let that cook for a minute. While that's going on, I'm going to start opening a bunch of cans of beans. And we're going to put them in a colander, and we're going to rinse them. All right, there's my Great Northern beans. And I just used the local grocery store brand beans. They were on sale. And it's a 15-ounce can. So far, I have 4 of them. I don't know if much more is going to fit. So right now, that's what we're doing, is 4 of them rinsed and drained. And then I will just add them to this in a minute. Good. Going to add 4 cans. We probably will put in the other 2 here shortly. Because after all, it's a bean soup, right? We need the beans. There we go. That's 6 15.5-ounce cans of Great Northern beans. I just think they taste sweeter. I just think that they make a better bean soup. That's just my opinion. Put in the comments which is your favorite. Instead of just beans and vegetables all in a pan, we're going to make this a soup. So we got to add some stock or broth, right? Time to add some chicken stock. One of these is 4 cups. We'll see if we need 1 or 2. Remember, this is a big old pot. And we're definitely going to need more than 1. So I use 8 cups of stock. Here's my little taste test jar of spoons. Ooh. Did I get a spicy stock? And just to make things good, we're going to put in some cowboy butter. And I learned this trick. If you twist here, it comes out much faster. Much faster. We're going to put a little cumin. Just a little. Yes, it's a big old pot. And then maybe a little bit of Dan-O's. Looks like I might need to get some more of this. And we're gonna stir that in and let that get cooked down a little bit. Now, here's another controversial thing that some people might not want, but I do it. I don't want to add a full thing of tomato sauce or tomato paste. I don't have any tomato paste, but I just use simply ketchup. No artificial sweeteners, not a ton of sugar. I just squirt some of this in. It's a big thing, so I'm going to add a little bit more than what you think you would need. But it just kind of gives it that tomato base in the background. Have I had tomato paste? I might have done a little bit of that. But this just deepens the flavor, makes it a little rich without adding tomato sauce, a can of tomato sauce, or diced tomatoes. You don't want that. You just want a little bit of hint of tomato in the background. Because if you look at your Campbell's soup, the bean and ham soup, Campbell's soup, check out their label. There's tomato paste in it. All right. That's stirred in and combined. Let's do another taste test here. That did it. That's all it takes is sometimes just that much, little tiny bit. That's good. In fact, I'm going to do just a little bit more. It just deepened that flavor. If you could see the color difference, that really made a difference in the color as well. Without adding a can of tomatoes, because I don't want tomatoes in here. I just want that little bit in the background. And now, we're just going to put a lid on it and let it simmer for a little while and clean up some of this mess. So, I'll be right back. I switched out my utensil. I got one of these spoons that kind of hangs on the edge. And I like to use this with this pan because this lid, then it will keep it open so the steam can come out. We accidentally left this on low one time with the lid on it solid and it burnt to a crisp on the bottom. I don't know why this is a new, using the stove for the first time. We kept burning stuff, and I don't know why. So another thing I'm gonna add, and I turn this down a little bit, is just some parsley flakes, because you know, you want to make it look bougie. It's not gonna really give it flavor. It's just gonna make it look more homemade, more gourmet, more rustic, however you want to say it. Now, some people, when they do the bean soup, they take some of the beans and they put them in a blender and they stir them up and all of that good stuff. But I don't. And I could put an immersion blender in, but then I'd blend up the meat and the chunks of vegetables. I don't want to do that either. So I'm not going to do that, but I might. Hang on. What I might do, whoops, forgot to put my spoon there. What I might do to make it more thick and creamy is up the protein content. And by doing that, I may blend up a can of garbanzo beans, some Greek yogurt, and some cottage cheese. All of those have a great deal of protein. It'll thicken the soup and you'll never know it. So I'm going to do that. So we're going to put in some cottage cheese, and we're going to use some Greek yogurt and the garbanzo beans, and we'll see what happens. All right, so this is what we got. I did make a lot of it, and I don't think I'm going to use it all, but we're going to thicken this up a little bit with some of this stuff. Whoops. Let's see. Yeah. That's good. Garbanzo bean, cottage cheese, and Greek yogurt. Make it all creamy, and you know we're adding a whole bunch of protein. All right, let's try it one more time. Perfect. All right, we're gonna let that cook. And then I got all this left, and you're like, what are you gonna do with that? I am gonna add a whole bunch of stuff to it. Maybe a little bit of garlic. Although I used granulated garlic over there earlier. I'm gonna add a little more pepper. I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to add some red wine vinegar. See where I'm going with this? I'm going to make a salad dressing. Red wine vinegar. I'm going to add some more. My jar was out. I'm going to add some more olive oil once we get it going and emulsifying. But I'm also going to add lemon, okay? So, I'm going to show you a trick on the lemon too. If your lemon doesn't squeeze out, like it's hard to squeeze. So if it's hard to squeeze your lemon, take a fork, turn it in there, and kind of twist it around your fork, and look at how that juice just pours out. Just squeeze it around that fork and move the fork up and down and rotate the lemon. Look at all that I got out. Let's do it again. Just poke it in there. Can you hear it falling out of there? It's so much. And it doesn't matter if some of the pulp gets in. We're going to we're going to blend this up. So look at how much lemon we got out of there. All right. I'm going to go back over here. Stay tuned for just a minute, and you're going to see a wonderful salad dressing. Going to add one more ingredient. I'm going to add some honey and some more of this olive oil. All right, I got a spoon. I'm going to try this. If you guys, this is a Ninja Foodi. I'm telling you, if you don't have one, you need to get one. Oh my gosh. That's good. That is so good. So I'm going to use that handy dandy little slicer that we use, and I'm going to slice up one of these English cucumbers, and you put it in a dish and you shake it, and this with this dressing on it. Ooh, yummy. Slices of cucumber. I'm going to pour a little bit out. Now you can add a bunch of other stuff to this if you wanted. Some nuts, some onions, some other vegetables, whatever. Some salmon, some whatever you want to add to it, but that's good. Light, refreshing, really good. Now, I'm going to find a mason jar and a lid, and I'm going to pour the rest of that and keep it in the fridge. When I want to make a salad, shake it up. It's all set. So, my bean soup is all done. It's just going to cook down and get yummy. It looks really thick and hearty. Can you see that? Hope you enjoyed watching me make hearty ham and bean soup. And stay tuned for more All the Things with Grammy. And we're going to talk about a lot more, do some baking, make some fresh bread. How about some desserts? Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.